What's going on, y'all? Another week, another geek. We are back at it with another episode of the Why I'm Geek show with your homies G and Chrissy. Like, Chris, how you feeling today, Brody?
Pretty good, man. Spooky season's about to end tomorrow. It's
Let's go.
Halloween tomorrow, so it's the last day.
Mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm.
feeling good. Uh, one more day of some scary stuff, and then we're just switching up. We're dropping it. But how you been, G? How you feeling?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. I'm excited for this month to be over, bro, because I'm ready to go back to the movies. Been a while, and like as far as what I've been seeing, some cool stuff is coming out in November. I'm excited to watch. So that'll be super dope. But other than that, I'm good, bro. I'm good. And I'm even better because today we got Loki season 2, episode 4 to talk about, man. This is like what, halfway through? We halfway through
Pretty
now?
much.
Yeah. It felt like the end.
I think Loki was 6 episodes originally, right?
Something like that. It wasn't really the long show, but the episode.
Yeah.
So that was the difference. But I mean, like let's just get right into it. Oh no, actually, before we get into it, man, let's do the stamper and offer this week, man. So obviously we've been talking about Loki today, but I've been getting some chatter here and there out in the cosmos of the internet. And a lot of people are starting to say, that like Loki is low key Marvel's greatest show. So the stamper and all this week, is Loki the best Marvel show of all time? That's not just Disney Plus, that's including like Netflix shows, everything, bro.
I mean, for me it is, but
Okay.
it's not really saying much. Like I don't think Marvel really produced like a 10 out of 10 show, but I think they have good shows.
Mhm.
So for me, Loki's definitely the best, mainly because I feel like it carries the most like weight. Like anything that I watch actually transfers to bigger picture stuff. But Stamper and all, do you think Loki is Marvel's greatest show ever?
Abso-freaking-lutely, bro. Like for me, I love the Netflix era of Marvel where you had shows like shows like, I don't know why this is the first one that come to my mind, but Iron Fist. Iron Fist wasn't really that good, but we had Daredevil, Luke Cage, like that whole
What was the other
Defenders
one?
thing.
Dang.
Secret. It's not Secret Invasion, but it's the Agents of Shield was
Yeah.
really good. That's like one of my favorites, like top three. Um, and then obviously Daredevil, but like this show is on a different level, bro, than all of those. And a lot of those shows like a lot more longer running, like a more traditional style show, where this one is kind of in the streaming era. But I just think pound for pound, Loki is the best, bro. Loki is literally. So let us know in the comment sections what y'all think. Is this y'all favorite show too? Um, do you hate it, bro? Because because at this point in the show, bro, I could see people starting to get frustrated at like what's actually happening. So let's get a little bit into it, bro. First things first, man. Renslayer and Miss Minutes was out here plotting from the jump, bro. What do you think of their team up and like the quote unquote truth that we got to see in this episode?
What you
Was it?
talking about, quote unquote truth?
I mean, bro, like, was it what you expected? Like, was it like as big of a reveal as they kind of hyped it up to be? And if you don't know what I'm talking about at the beginning of the episode where Miss Minutes shows Renslayer essentially what happened when initially she was supposedly the leader of Kang's army and the one
Yeah, helped.
fighting day to day, like on the front lines type beat, and they were partners. And basically, he tricked her to going back to the TVA, and then had Miss Minutes wipe everybody's minds, and thus we get
Kind of like
the
what actually happened.
exactly the
Okay.
timekeepers and stuff like that. So like that was the big secret. I thought it was gonna be something on the lines of like we were saying in the previous episode where like she's just another version of Kang and at some capacity or something like
A
that. I
little
think
spicier. Yeah.
that would have been really cool. But
Yeah.
what did you
She's
think
just
of
like
this?
a partner that set it up and then just swiped the memories and just kept running it. And it's fine. It's fine. It's not as epic as you would think at the end of season three. Like, oh, I know something about you. Like, it was like, oh, okay, he wiped my mind. Like, like I don't know. It wasn't as big or major because for me, it's not really like, oh, she was leading and then she got betrayed or they just kind of say, "Oh yeah, it was your army and you did all this," but it's like you don't see it, so it's
Mhm.
like less impactful for me that oh, he pretty much robbed you and stole your potential seat of power, or not even seat of power because they're technically our partners. But pretty much erased her mind. But I'm like, we already knew he erased everyone's mind, so it wasn't like too shocking. Um, I don't know. It's just not as spicy. But
Yeah,
I don't hate.
yeah. I was I was disappointed. I was
Okay.
disappointed in that because they made it really seem to me like she was about to drop a bomb. Like
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
had some type of code or there was something hidden in her DNA or like something crazy was about to happen. But for it to be just another diorama version of what we already know to be true, I was upset, bro. Because for me, I would have been more mad at Miss Minutes than I would have been at He Who Remains, just because she already had the answers and you just now showing me this. So I wouldn't necessarily like, because there's nothing she could do about it now. Like her mind was erased, and that person is gone. Like it's literally sitting over there in the room as a decaying body. Like, what are you gonna do with that? So the, I guess like vitriol that she has toward everything else at this point is to me misplaced because really I feel like what you were saying before in a previous episode that Miss Menace is the real like devil on your shoulder in a sense,
Yeah,
like
very true.
she only gonna really show you exactly what she wants because she still can't physically do anything
Yeah.
outside of her programming, outside of technology, like in the physical world. Like she can't really impact that,
She
you
couldn't
know.
even drop off the book.
That's what I'm saying. So it's it was I didn't like that, but it is what it was, and it was a good way to intro the episode, like
Yeah.
because it just kind of set the tone as far as like, okay, I know they about to stand on business type beat in this episode, and that's what they
Yeah,
did, bro.
as backstabby as I think they thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly.
because we've been following her character like all season, it did kind of feel like this reveal was gonna be a little more. Like I said, I don't hate it. It's just not really that spicy. It's like, oh, all right, cool. Like he's bad. Like,
Yeah, and it's
and
not even it's not even like I didn't even look at it like that. Like, oh, he's bad. I just looked at it as like he's just doing what he do. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
he
And
does what he
it
has
was
to
just kind
do.
of like, oh yeah, you led the army, but I kind of just wish we saw a scene, something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe make him he who remains seem kind of like out of place, like he's not actually as intimidating. Because all we have really is he who remains version and the Kang version from
Mm-hmm.
Quantumania.
Yeah.
So to hear that Renslayer helped lead an army to help win the multiversal war, some stuff is just better like shown.
Yeah. That's facts. That's facts. But you know, we did learn that Victor Timely is the OG OG. Like that's the original He Who Remains, which was a good thing to find out. Even though it's like
It's confusing though.
it's
It's like
very
some
confusing.
time paradox crap that's so convoluted.
Yeah. Because if you think about it, it's like, okay, He Who Remains. is Kang. He Who Remains is also Victor Timely, but they're separate versions of each. And because the TVA exists outside of time, it doesn't necessarily matter when you like
Uh
who we get to see, essentially.
oh.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like just because he's here in this present moment and then he was there in the past.
Like I'm still not quite sure if He Who Remains and Victor Timely are exactly the same, but it's like you don't get He Who Remains without him sending the book to Timely, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but what I would say is that um there's a difference between He Who Remains and Kang the Conqueror because King the Conqueror, we know for a fact, is the one that initially started the whole war, right?
Yeah.
But He Who Remains, aka Victor Timely, is the one who stopped it. So
Yeah,
there's an infinite. There's I think
it's
they're two
weird
different people.
because yeah, it's kind of like He Who Remains has to send the book back to Timely
Mm-hmm.
in order for Timely to
To
then
become he.
create He Who Remains. I don't know if he becomes it because
I
it's
think he
confusing.
does.
Well, it's confusing because at the end of this episode we see Timely splits or whatever that is, you know. So it then
Mm-hmm.
goes back to question: He Who Remains somehow knows that Timely has to do this whatever. I don't know if it's actually splitting or going to other timelines or just dying in order for He Who Remains from another timeline to become He Who Remains. Do you see what I'm saying? Because like we don't know if Timely died or not.
We don't know that he died, but I look at it as like take a coin for instance, right? You got the two sides of a coin, right? One A, one B. And I think the cycle of Victor Timely continuously happens, except when there's a Loki involved, because Loki is the ultimate variant. Loki is
Bro,
the
what
thing
you
that you
want?
can't.
Like, go
Well,
explain
what
this.
you mean? Like,
Go-
cause the thing about this whole situation, to me, is that this everything that has happened has only happened once, right? So the universal war that happened in the past, which is about to become the present, happened one time.
Is that confirmed though? I thought He Who Remains says he's always comes back to the same spot. And then that when Loki and Sylvie did, he gave opportunity to try something different.
Well, the reason why it would have been an opportunity to do something different to me, okay, to me, this is my headcanon, right?
Uh-oh.
Is because they would have continued to do the job. So um, regardless of if He Who Remains was alive or if he ended up dying, he would have cycled back if Loki never became a variant. Because the system would have never really changed, right? But if they had took the job and just kept pruning and pruning and pruning, there would have been no other reason for them to do it. So like the whole point of it continuously being Victor Timely that becomes He Who Remains is because regardless of which Kang it is, whether it's the Sphinx Kang, whether it's, you know, this Kang or that Kang, they're always going to end up, one of them is always going to end up finding the other one in the past and teaching them and then continuously going on and going on and going on. And then one of them will be Victor Timely, who will see like, oh, this ain't right. And then thus create the TVA outside of that. That is my theory on like how
So
all
like
this
the
works.
confusing part is we see how Victor Timely learns about the TVA and how he goes to the TVA
Mm-hmm.
and then ultimately his demise.
We see his demise
So to me
in
it's like He
the
Who
present.
Remains knows these events already, and when he gives the book to Mr. Victor Timely, he knows these events already. You see what I'm saying? Like something about what we just saw at the end of episode 4
Mm-hmm.
was meant to happen,
Mm-hmm.
and really we're just waiting to see what was the big reveal that He Who Remains. Because what I'm starting to think is what we're watching in Loki season 2 is definitely before Quantumania, like 100%. And I think somehow all
Okay, I
these
can see that.
Kangs where they're
Mm-hmm.
at
Yeah,
is not on the what is it called, the timeline or whatever, the
sacred timeline.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing whatever we just saw in Loki that just happened, all those Kangs are meeting in some type of quantum realm or some place that's not infected by that blast wave of, I don't even know what you want to call it. But to me, that blast wave is like a complete reset, teleporting everybody everywhere or something. But I don't see those events from like Quantum Mania happening at the same time as what we're watching.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm okay with that. I think
yeah. So
I
I'm
think that
I'm
makes
thinking the
sense.
end of this season is
Mm-hmm.
gonna lead to somehow we see how that Kang the Conqueror gets ejected somewhere, like ejected to the quantum realm, something, because right now we're at a point where they gotta link this stuff.
Yeah,
They got,
it's
because to me
yeah.
it's like it's like they did a wipe, a reset, whatever this thing was, where Timely went into the vortex. I kind
Mm-hmm.
of feel like it was on purpose, but that immediately triggered this blast of reset, and it's probably gonna send everyone back to their own timelines, and this is probably where now we get like Kang meeting another Kang, some like officially, because it just seems like there's no way whatever just happened, it can't destroy all the branch timelines. It can't merge them all in the same one. So then it's like, how does Kang meet each other?
Okay. So I don't. Okay, so I'm gonna have to tackle it. That's a lot. So I'm gonna tackle this one by one.
Yeah.
So
Like, where are we in this in the timeline of the movies? Because
yeah,
the way I view it, the movies are on the sacred timeline.
yes, 100%. So in the movies, I think all of this happens, like you're saying, before Quantumania.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's an easy thing to say, and I think that this will lead to, because I really think like the place that He Who Remains lives is the byproduct of that, of like the place in Quantumania where all the kings were being destroyed after the war. Like I feel like they all came there to initially fight, and that was all
At the
that's
end of time.
left. Yeah, and that's all that was left.
Because what I'm confused also is they have this concept of incursions, and
Mm-hmm.
that's when you meet yourself, right? Or you go into another
Incursions,
world.
well, incursions was like when the two different,
Doctor
like,
Strangers go
yeah.
into the same world, right? In reality.
Well, I see it as like they start to pass through each other.
Okay.
So
So I'm
like,
I'm trying to merge literally this
yeah,
timeline explosion with this Kang doing this
hmm,
split thingy, and
yeah.
all the Kangs somehow being able to meet up.
Think about it
So it's
like a Venn diagram. So like, there's the two circles, and then there's a part in the middle, and the part in the middle is the incursion.
yeah,
And
but
just
somehow
think
we
of
know
this.
Kang avoids these incursions. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of
Well,
like I think this explosion did something. Now all the Kangs can meet up in some type of quantum realm,
yeah.
outside reality thing.
But
They do that without triggering the incursions.
yes and no, because we see in in game whenever Captain America fought himself, and as long as like
I think that's in the
that
same timeline.
person, yeah, that's in the same timeline, but like they went into the past.
Yeah,
right?
on the same timeline though. You can do that. Like Doctor Strange can't go to a different reality Doctor Strange.
Okay. So reality versus time.
Yeah, so
As
it's
long as
like
they're on the same timeline, it doesn't matter. Because that's what I was about to say.
yeah,
Was
so there's
that
multiple
nothing happened in that
but there's
instance?
multiple different Kangs. You see what I'm saying? They're not the same Kang like every 10 years.
Yeah, but
Like Captain
yeah,
America was Captain America.
right. But what I'm saying is that like because they're outside of time and like outside of like where I guess it could have an effect because we haven't really seen outside of the time slipping thing
Mhm.
where um in this episode literally we saw Loki have to prune himself where
Yeah.
it's like that's the reason why that person is time slipping and we haven't really seen that from Kang specifically. We've only seen that through Loki.
Like is that wave of explosion just an automatic prune and everyone's just
I
gonna
don't
go
think so.
to a single timeline like the void?
I
Is it
think it's
because
going to be. I think it's going. Nah, I think it's going to be like an explosion, but like because the TVA is going to initially be broken, right? It's not going to be any more power. Everything is going to be a blackout, right? Lights out, like literally, and all that energy is going to pass through them, and then they initially just going to be like stuck, you know, like.
I mean, I think it's two. They're either gonna go to the void where Alive was,
Mhm.
or they're all going back to their branch timelines. Like
I can't
it's
see
something's
everybody
gonna
going back just because like we had never seen where most of these people are from. Like I think it's all
yeah.
going to stay outside of time. Like that's the only way that it can really make sense because like to me the whole different universe thing has been happening. Um
Yeah, but
it's
wasn't
just
like
the
the
whole
branch
point.
timelines like all the events of different lives of different versions of themselves? So that
Yeah, but the
explosion
but
thing, you
the
don't think that's like them it blowing up?
no, because the reason that it exploded was because they created a machine to tame all the different timelines to be into one continuous string. This machine wasn't built
Yeah,
to hold all of them. So just
all the
because it
infinite
can't,
ones.
yeah, so just because it can't hold it doesn't mean that these things can no longer exist, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, so essentially there's gonna be infinite amount of
Yeah.
everything's of timelines,
Yes.
like officially.
Yes.
So, but you still think like nothing happened to the Loki we just saw? Like he's
Mm-mm.
not getting teleported. He's not going to the void. They're just still at the TVA.
Nah, I think they still have the TVA, bro. I think they still have the TVA. Now I don't know exactly what's going to work as far as their technology, um, even after
Okay.
like the whole reboot and things like that. Because to me, the whole point of showing Victor Timely initially used the prototype of his invention of the temporal loom was to show that it was used to not only generate power but also like do all the other crazy stuff that it can do now. But in that infancy phase, that was the initial thing, was that it's power, right? So, um, if that's the case, that is like the worst that could really happen. So they just won't have any power, and then they have to figure out how to really tame all the stuff again. Because the whole issue with the whole reason why Victor Timely got bodied was not because um of like the timelines itself, it was the radiation that was coming off of it. So like essentially like heat, right? Like it
Yeah,
wasn't.
but the only reason why I'm like partly where I'm like clearly he who remains needed timely to do whatever he did because why else would he who remains give him the book? He what did timely do really?
Timely made a sacrifice to make up for like who he was. Like it should be
What-
me, right? Like
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
no
but
way, there's
that
no
right
way in
there
that
has to
book.
be important. You see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, but there's no way in that book it said like, yo, you're gonna have to make this sacrifice
So
to
you don't think that was like predestined? Like he needed
no.
that
I
event
think
to occur?
everything that's happening right now is
Is
free.
just off the grid.
It's
Oh,
off the
okay.
grid,
Yeah,
off
I'm
the
not viewing it
script.
that way.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
off the script because the whole
Okay.
the whole thing that really got me this episode that I really liked was Loki's discussion or debate went against Sylvie and the reason why they're doing the things that they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like free will is a thing, but also there has to be some type of order in that free will. And when he was like, yeah, like, well, no, when Sylvie was like, I've heard this all before, sounds familiar type beat, like this free will thing doesn't seem so free type beat. And she was like, we're gods. Like this is our job type thing. So I really think that once he who remains said like, oh, I
Yeah.
don't have anything left on my clock, like
hmm
that was really it. He doesn't know exactly what's going to happen because it's continuously moving forward.
I
So
see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
so that yeah, so that's why I feel like the cycle of Victor Timely and He Who Remains will always happen, but because there's a Loki and a Sylvie, that all changed. Because
Okay.
before that he was just stuck. He didn't have nobody to take his place, you know, because he made that decision to be like a mystery. Like he just didn't want any outside presence, and he was like, okay, y'all two are essentially the best of both worlds, and you can ground each other in knowing like y'all understand what it's like to not have free will, and y'all understand like what it's like to lose it, and then
Yeah.
the whole
I see
that
what you're
whole
saying. I
thing.
just can't get over the fact that He Who Remains said I always be back here. Like what kind of like whatever like
Because he's a con
I'll
man.
let you take over, but if you like kill me, I'll just return. Like just
Hmm.
wait till you meet my variants. And it's kind of like he knows what's gonna happen, and then
Yeah.
the fact that we know that he puts the events in motion. Now that I see the whole Timely episode, the two episodes combined, it just doesn't make sense why he would send the book for him to learn. He doesn't physically do something. Like you wouldn't physically give him the book to learn about the TVA if whatever he does doesn't lead to anything. Even if it's like that ball that he brought to the TVA, like maybe
Hmm.
he needs that or something. But like there was a reason Victor had to be there. And I'm thinking it's because Victor has to do that little time split or they call it radiation. I think
Hmm.
Obi's actually wrong, and it's something. Like
Yeah.
he
It's the
needed
reason why
that.
he splits into ribbons. Like
Yeah, there's some
that doesn't
purpose.
say radiation to me, but
Yeah. But
yeah.
okay.
And I really think it has to do with the idea that like yes, he who remains has had a plan this whole time, essentially of like what will happen if he does die or you do kill me, and then like let everything happen again. It's because if that happens, to me, his thinking is like, all right, if they're not going to do my job, then you know everything's going to happen anyway.
Mhm.
So like he's not thinking. To me, this is my just thing. He's not thinking that once he dies, everybody is going to have their memory back. Everybody like from Miss Minutes is going to betray him. All this stuff, right? He just thinks that like as long as he gets that book, everything
Everything falls into
will
place.
fall into place,
Yeah.
right? Regardless, but
Regardless. Yeah.
because of the TVA and because of Loki figuring out like
You're thinking
um
it's knocking it off track.
yeah, like everything that they're doing is the reason why like things are going to happen like this. Like if it was really a full cycle, then it wouldn't necessarily matter that the whole thing went kablooey and it went
Yeah.
lights out. Like it wouldn't
But that's what I'm
matter.
saying. I that's why I keep saying like it now that I've seen the two episodes, it doesn't make any sense to drop off the book because if Timely is dead, Like, what was the purpose? And that's why I'm saying this blast wave or something, we're gonna really find out what it is. But you made a really good point. That blast wave is just the infinite amount of timelines. So maybe
Yeah.
they are still stuck at the TVA.
Hmm.
But I'm thinking that blast wave is gonna allow for interlapping of those maybe incursions not to happen. You see what I'm saying? Like these next two episodes, they gotta explain how we get to the Secret Wars timeline. Like we're not
Yeah.
going to that single timeline again. And they kind of shut that out. We're not fixing it in the TVA. You see what I'm saying? Like they I'm hoping
The TVA cannot
they
exist.
yeah, I'm hoping what we just saw, we're about to see just the snippet of how they're explaining the Secret Wars, multiple different versions of our favorite heroes coming about.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's just, hey, we snap Loki onto a different timeline where there's already a different Loki,
Mm-hmm.
or because it's really weird now. It's really weird now because we have Quantumania where we already seen He Who Remains.
Yeah.
Like that event is just blowing my mind. I need to figure it out, and it needs to happen next episode.
Yeah, I think I don't think that we end Loki season 2 and the TVA exists in the same way that it has before. I think the whole thing is going to change where they're no longer going to be pruning like it really reminds me of Monsters Inc. where they're no longer going to be pruning universes and variants and stuff to keep one sacred timeline. It's going to change to like stop just essentially like what the first initial plan was, which was when a variant steps out of line and does something that will inherently affect like other timelines. So like jumping from place to place, like you were saying, like that's
Yeah,
that is
it
as
seems
far
like
as that's as far as it's going to go because I don't think the Loki that we see now will ever return to like the full like MCU, you know?
Mhm.
I think that it's gonna like they're gonna have like a nuanced like version of it. So like they're no longer going to be getting their power like in Monsters Inc. from scaring kids. They're gonna be get it from making them laugh. And it's like
Mhm.
the TVA will still exist, but in a way less like strenuous and like heavy handedness that uh He Who Remains had because he only knows one way, which is like I have to do it myself and it has to be done this specific way because the whole book thing it has a certain connotation to it where it makes me feel like they really this is really just a guide. Like I think that his plan was for Miss Minutes and Renslayer to drop that book off and that be it. But because Renslayer and Miss Minutes now have their own ideas, that's why like all the stuff that we're seeing now is
yeah,
actually
yeah,
happening.
yeah.
You know what
I
I'm
get
saying?
it. I get what you're
Like,
saying. You're saying everything is brand new. Like
yeah,
it's not gonna go down the way Kang uh believes so,
yeah.
and like potentially even this explosion is just another byproduct of it.
Hmm.
I'm just really excited to see what the heck this explosion officially is because
Yeah.
I kind of don't believe that it's the void. I think somehow they get split back to timelines that are all wackadoo, all something crazy. Um, and like I said, I think we're gonna get an answer to the incursions why multiple Canes can meet up without something being bad. I mean,
Yeah.
they said it variance technically works,
Yeah.
but yeah, but and we didn't even get an explanation on how he made the device yet to meet himself.
Yeah,
Is it?
that is the
We
thing.
don't
I don't
have
think
that.
I don't think Victor Timely is going to be the one to do that. I think we'll see that in Secret Invasions. I think the only purpose for this series is to explain the universal boom of like all right, I know you saw the different ripples and stuff that happened in Spider-Man, but this is how it really happened. So like that whole like when that whole like light thing happened in Spider-Man
Yeah.
with Eddie, like when he went back, I think that was this explosion.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
the initial ripple. The initial ripple was whenever he got stabbed. Like when he got
Yeah.
transported.
Because something about watching that episode made me say this season is out of whack with the timeline. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've watched stuff that whenever this event happened, like Spider-Man or was it Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Morbius, Spider-Man. I don't know.
Well,
I can't remember when the
Morbius.
Flash.
I don't remember that in Morbius.
Was it?
Oh no, it wasn't that. It wasn't that. It wasn't that. The Flash happened in Morbius. It was that they showed that Eddie Brock or Venom was a part of that same universe. It was on TV.
Yeah,
that's all it was.
And I'm thinking like these events. Mm-hmm. We were trying to say, oh, this is how the multiverse starts. This is how the multiverse starts.
Yeah,
like this event is probably it.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're gonna get the confirmation in the future ones, but little things like those were like the hints that it already happened, but this was Kang and we just never realized.
Yeah,
or not Kang. I don't even know the TVA Loki.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because what really made me like settle on the idea that like Loki was never coming back to his initial timeline was when he broke down and said that when he was talking about Thor and he was like, yeah, like a few years ago this happened with my brother. He got banished to Earth and that changed him. And I was like, oh my, yeah, he doesn't even know anything. Like he has no purpose in the original MCU now outside of like
I feel you.
A random event happening and we get a little quick pop-up of him being there to show
like he's outside of the MCU timeline at that point.
Yeah,
because he's the Avengers Loki.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, because I feel like with Secret Wars, like
they gotta get there.
We're putting too much stock into Kang when it's really like Kang Dynasty is gonna be the Kang movie. You know what I'm saying? But it just has to be the spark of Secret Wars, right?
Like whatever you're like what you're thinking about the initial whatever Kang does, however they get together, that is only gonna bleed into Secret War somehow. Like
just like how Loki in Avengers was the catalyst to us first learning about Thanos.
Oh, true.
Like that is that movie was the setup of like, oh, there's something bigger than Loki out here happening.
Yeah.
You know?
And pretty much whatever's going on right now is, Secret Wars is going to go crazy and merge all this stuff. But right now, all we're dealing with is Kang getting together. It's like one small aspect of opening up the multiverse. It's like, oh, yeah, this bad guy's all going to meet together and gang up. But then it's like, wait a minute, what happens when there's like multiple of all of us?
Yeah, it's going to get tricky, bro. Because, like, well, technically, we've already seen multiple characters together that are from different universes from the Spider-Man movie, and nothing happened.
Sure, yeah.
It only gets tricky when there's time involved.
Yeah.
So
yeah, bro. And this is why we went on this rant because geez, it just gets so freaking confusing. And I want this blast to just wipe away everything and then boom. All right, this is where we're at. We established this. Let's keep the ball rolling because we got multi Spider-Mans, multiple this, multiple that. This is cut. This is not like.
Yeah, because this is the lifeblood of what Marvel is gonna be in the future, bro. Because
And I kind of feel like this episode we have 2 more left, but this episode
yeah,
anything can happen afterwards, you know? Like
yeah, bro. Like
Loki can be anywhere
he
in
can
any
turn his
reality at any
magic on.
timeline.
He can use his magic now. Like I forgot that was a thing. Like remember in a previous episode, I was like, yeah, like we don't really see Loki use his powers when he's like in the real world, essentially. Like we don't ever see him use it in the TVA, and it was like, oh yeah, it's dampeners. I was like, oh, I forgot about that. So there's like all these little things about the TVA and all these contingencies and like things that really makes me want to get that freaking TVA handbook because that joint got all the
Hey,
answers. That
like I
joint got
said,
all the answers, bro.
contingencies,
Yeah,
they plan for this thing to blow up.
I
It's like,
mean,
"Oh yeah,
yeah,
when this thing blows up, starts the multiversal war, I come back here later in the future, fix it, we good." Like
but that it's like,
it's just tough for me cuz like
Kang is the
I
bad guy. He Who
yeah, but it's
Remains
like
is not the bad guy.
I believe he who remains knows what's gonna happen,
Hmm.
but then also we know that the Avengers are gonna defeat Kang. So
Hmm.
I'm just piecing, okay, this is where he who remains is right on the path of this is gonna happen always. And now I'm waiting for the next event to be like, this is how the Avengers actually win. I just think that's
Yeah,
way in the future, like,
yeah.
you
This
know,
is the cat.
some
This is gonna be.
Fantastic Four helps
Mhm.
out or something. Or Doctor
Yeah,
Doom does something that helps them defeat Kang that Kang
yeah.
didn't expect. But to me, I'm seeing what Kang already knows is going to happen. Give the book to Timely, go into the, what is it called? A device, the loophole, or whatever they call it.
Temporal loom.
Temporal loom, and do the little squigglies, and that squigglies helps me, you know, I don't know, find time to figure out how to get all together, you know?
Man won't let this man Chris won't let Kang live, bro. He won't let him live. He said he gonna make him the bad guy,
I,
or he who
I mean,
remains, I should say, not Kang. Kang's the bad
yeah,
guy.
we
He
don't
who
even know who Kang the
remains.
Conqueror is yet.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's a fact. Because it's like, because my whole thing is that this episode or this show will be the thing that explains how everything happens.
Yeah,
And
and that's why it's good.
yeah,
I think that's why it's good. The other ones just don't have the same weight. It's
hmm
like, what is it? Captain Falcon. It's like a cool
Captain
little.
Falcon. Oh
Oh
my gosh.
yeah, Captain America and wait, what was it called?
Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Oh no, Captain
Falcon and the Winter
America.
Soldier. It was called
No,
Falcon and the Winter Soldier, right?
yeah, Falcon and the Winter
Yeah.
Soldier. Yeah,
The new one's called Captain America: Brave New
New
World or
World,
something like that.
New World. Yeah, uh,
New World Order.
New World
Um,
Order. Oh my gosh, don't roast us.
Captain.
Don't roast us. Captain
Yeah.
Falcon is crazy.
Yeah. But pretty much like that one's like a side quest. It's cool in another country and we follow up on side characters. But
Hmm.
it just doesn't feel like, oh, this is going to pay off majorly. This is going to pay off big. And
Yeah,
now that we have Quantum Mania, already a movie that showed a
what they
version
can
of
do.
Kang, how devastating he can be.
Mhm.
And now we have season 2 Loki building upon the fact like we are going to get more variants. We're going to go even crazier with multiple versions of your heroes, you know,
Yeah.
multiple Black Panthers, multiple Spider-Mans, multiple Iron Mans. Like anything can happen coming up. And it just
Hmm.
feels like we're reaching the point why the show is so good that we're
Yeah.
about to see how. And I can't believe Loki did it. And I'm ready to see if Loki is still stuck at the TVA.
Mhm.
But this man Kang, or not Kang, because God, it's so confusing. He who remains just seems to know all the answers, and uh, I think we're still following his little plan, you know, his little guide.
Can't let this man rock, bro. Let him
Yeah, we
cook.
need Sylvie
Let
to
him
save
cook.
us. How about that?
You Sylvie? Nah,
Yeah,
bro.
she already knows how to snip it, but we keep following Loki, and Loki's leading us wrong, bro.
Bro, if you snip it in the bud, that don't solve anything. That's the whole point, bro. That just prolongs the problem.
I mean, that's what Sylvie said. Just let it run free. Let's see what happens. That's what she's saying.
No, it's not. That's not. It's not as simple. It's
Yeah,
not
well,
that
she
simple,
thinks killing Kang automatically, boom, we're done. Like we're good.
bro. She's not gonna be able to kill every single Kang though.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
that's the whole thing. That's what if that's what she wants to spend her life doing, that's crazy. Like, but it's also crazy that she wants to spend her life flipping patties too.
Yeah.
McDonald's when you got all this power, but that's a story for another time, bro. I just think it's crazy that like all this stuff happened. Like, let's talk about like the episode like itself. Like, all this stuff happened in such a short amount of time that like had me like, bro, everything is breaking. Like everything, this show is about to end. Like this is over. You
Yeah, it
know,
seems over
like
already.
Youngest is getting pruned. Freaking Miss Minutes got rebooted. All them
Mhm.
soldiers got freaking turned into a square that we never got to see, bro. Like, because it's PG-13. There's there's a lot that happened for it to end in the way that it did. I was like, they're good. That this is a freaking good show. It's crazy, bro.
I'm excited to see what happens next.
Yeah.
If they have some dumb explanation, I'd be shocked. It just feels like they thought this through.
hmm
Um, yeah, it's gonna affect something, and
Yeah.
you
The,
can't mess this one up, Marvel. You really can't.
the only
You,
issue now is that I feel like they bought the right glue, but the pieces are still they still not fitting right, bro. Because a lot of these actors and a lot of these characters that don't come from successful projects like are already talking about the fatigue of like wanting to get out these contracts. Like nobody's signing these big contracts anymore, especially like with
yeah,
Marvel, where it's gonna be like multi year. We're gonna be stuck playing this character, and I don't know how they're gonna do it, bro. Like
I was saying
there's so
just
many
reset.
moving parts, bro. There's so many moving parts in Marvel right now that we're left either like a lot of times like for me like the attitude around these things is that we're either getting a big answer to something that should have a major effect on the rest of the projects, but or they're starting something new that is unproven and we don't really know exactly how it's going to go. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
100%
Like
that though.
we just like the Marvels, bro. We don't know how this is going to go. I love Monica Rambeau. You know what I'm saying? Miss Marvel, eh. Like I like her as a character, but the TV show was eh. You know, and then Captain Marvel, like she don't want to play Miss Captain Marvel no more. You know, so they're gonna have to make some decisions moving forward where it's like, all right, to really pull this off, like they're gonna have to go crazy,
Variants,
bro. They're gonna
different
have to go
actors,
crazy. Yeah.
different versions of the same character.
hmm
And when it's Avenger time, all the main ones want to come back. That's when you
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah. And it will be epic. It will
Hey,
be
I hope.
epic.
I hope. I mean, to pull that off. I mean, they already pulled off Endgame and
hmm
um Infinity
Infinity War.
War, so it's just kind of they can only top themselves again. It just
They gotta
I've
make it.
never
They gotta
seen a
make them
home
want
run
to
like
do
that.
it though. You know what I'm saying? Like outside of the bread, like I want them to want to be a part of the Marvel universe. Still, like I don't feel like Young is like and I don't feel like it's their fault by any means. Like the actors and stuff like that. Like I don't blame it on them. I think it's the work that's being created. Like they had a nice little run, and now that they're at the end of the initial one, or like we lose like the heavy hitter names and stuff like that through whatever means, it's like, dang, like what we finna do? Like
Yeah, but it's
this.
also hard to follow up something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, think
Yeah,
about 23 movies to lead up to two of the biggest movies of all time. I
right.
mean,
And trying to fit it within 2 phases.
yeah, just to try to do it again.
Yeah,
Like come on, kids be talking about Thanos nowadays, and that was not happening growing up.
that's what I'm saying, bro. Like like everything changed when the first Iron Man movie came out.
Yeah,
That's
that
when
was a really good
everything
movie. I
changed.
remember it.
Yeah, and it's just grown and grown ever since. Where now it's like, boom, we at Loki. Who would have thought? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Crazy, bro. It's
And
crazy.
Loki's such a creative show, so
Hmm.
it's so good. And
Yeah,
that's why I like our rants on it, because it's like anything can happen next week. Like
yeah.
we could be totally left, totally right, but we'll find out the answer next week. And
Hmm.
oh, I feel like a good one's coming up. I feel like a good one's coming up.
Yeah. Me too, bro. But as of right now, it's lights out for me. They really cut the light out on it. That's crazy to me. Why they end it like that? I'm stuck on that joint. Like I literally just watched it, so it's still like I'm just thinking about that moment. I was like, yo, ain't no way they just did. Yeah. You got anything else on the show or anything that you want to talk about?
No, anybody in the chat, write your theories down, because
Mm-hmm.
to be honest, I don't think you can be wrong on this episode until next week. Like, I I think any theory at this moment in time is valid.
Okay.
It's a really weird phase, but I really like it, and I feel like a lot of other Marvel shows don't really do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of just like, all right,
Cut and dry.
cut and dry. Yep. You
Yeah.
got anything else on this episode?
Nah. I had so many things written down, but we like covered it through the rant. It's
Oh, for real?
crazy.
I was gonna skip most of the episode because it was a lot of talking too.
Yeah, it was. It was. Um, but yeah, man, I think this was good, bro. Let us know in the comment section what y'all thought of the episode. Whose side you rocking with? You going with the whole everybody gets pushed back into their own timelines with Chris, or is everybody still stuck in the TVA? I'm curious. We both probably wrong, but
I ain't gonna lie. I mean, that whole Renslayer thing. Yeah, we both probably wrong.
yeah, bro. So hit the like button if y'all enjoyed the podcast. Leave a 5-star rating. If you're listening to this on your favorite audio platforms, man, subscribe to us on
Oh,
YouTube.
geeked.
Oh yeah, what? Oh, my fault. My fault. What you geeked about, bro? What you geeked about?
I know you geeked to get out this pod. No, I'm
Don't put
geeked
that on
about
me.
I recently watched Five Nights at Freddy. If you got Peacock, try it out. It's not the
Peacock.
best.
My fault.
Yeah, I couldn't remember what I watched it on. It was free there though, but it wasn't. It's not the best movie. It's definitely more fan service. Definitely play the games. They're
Hmm.
much more confusing, scarier. So you still got 2 days for spooky season. Play Five Nights at Freddy's. Five Nights, yeah, at Freddy's.
Sound
Uh,
about right.
they sound about right. Yeah, there's like 8 games now,
Yeah,
but the movie's but fan service amazing.
they got a whole bunch of
Um,
actors in that joint though. That's all I know.
it does have some actors that I haven't seen in a while.
Hmm.
That was pretty good. And Fall of House Usher on Netflix, 10 out of 10, amazing movie. If you
Ooh.
got time to binge it this week, definitely do it. Even though if it's not spooky season no more, you gotta go watch it on Netflix. It was incredible, and man, that's some creepy stuff. Good job, Netflix. Keep it up. How about you, G? What you geeked
I'm
about?
telling you, bro. Netflix be killing for real, bro. Like Netflix had a little drought for a little while, but I'm
They
liking I'm
did.
liking what they doing. Liking what
They
they doing.
did.
But what am I geeked about, bro? I'm almost done with season 2 of Stranger Things, bro. Show's freaking crazy. Will has been going through it. He has been going through it. The worst childhood in all of TV history, bro. Like,
TV history.
it's crazy. And other than that, I really like I really ain't been watching too much stuff, bro. Like I just been watching
Dang, just
Stranger
Stranger
Things.
Things.
I mean, I've been watching Baki as well. Like I always watch Baki. Um, but yeah, like outside of that, like I haven't really gone. Like I said, like I'm waiting to go back to the movie. For real.
Yeah, November's movie time
Um,
for sure.
so I'm excited. I'm excited about that. because there's like a lot of stuff that's coming that I really want to see. And then I still gotta catch up to like some stuff that I've been watching, like my adventures with Superman. Like that's a cool animated
Oh
show. It's
yeah.
like really cool. Like probably like one of the best portrayals of Superman out there. And then anime, Jujutsu Kaisen, and like it's not
Still have
it's
not watched any.
it's not pissing me off, but it's like I just don't know where we going, bro. And it's like I just want some context, bro. Like so many cool things be happening in that show, but it's just like I don't know what to believe, bro. I don't know what to believe when I'm watching that joint, and I feel like it'll make more sense as it continues to go along. But something about these new gen animes, bro, that it's just like not giving me the sauce of like, okay, this is the world and this is the whole thing. You know, like I had the same issue with Chainsaw Man, and people were telling me I'm crazy because they read ahead and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, like I get it, bro, but as of right now, like
Icy takes.
this plot is not what is doing it. It's not doing it for me, bro. I'm coming here just for the square ups at this point. Like, yeah. So I don't know. That's all I got, bro. All I got.
Yeah, that works.
So
He's Geek for Loki, episode 5.
I mean, yeah, that too, but that should be obvious. Obvious. Talking about this right now. But yeah, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're on YouTube. Leave a comment. Let us know what y'all thought of the episode and Loki's episode. Y'all been going crazy on YouTube. I say it every week, bro. We keep putting stuff out, and then y'all keep watching it. So, love to see that. Also on audio platforms, y'all already heard me say this earlier. Rate the podcast 5 stars and leave a comment on there as well. And then yeah, is that it? Anything else we got to shout out? Nah. Oh, Geek the War is coming. Geek the War is coming at the end of the year, bro.
That's the end of the year. We
That's the
still
end
got
of the
some
year.
time. We still
Now,
got some time.
We gotta start talking about it now, bro. We gotta get ready. But I'm excited. I'm excited for that because it's about to be November, right? It's like literally about to be a month away.
Yeah, you survived spooky season.
So, yeah. Spooky season really just be like, it just be throwing me off, bro. Like I need to get back to normalcy. But hey, man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. We'll catch y'all next week, man. Stay geeked. Peace.
Later, y'all.